This is the Posted Up podcast. Yahoo Posted Up podcast. And man, look, I don't know what to say about this one. Look, we done had Kevin Durant on the show, Jimmy Butler, DeMarcus Cousins, John Wall, Damian Lillard. The list goes on and on. But look, I'm telling you right now, nothing right now can compare. No, those guests cannot compare. I love them. I love them. But they can't compare to the guests I have today. The legendary, the Don, Ice Cube.
Yeah.
Man, look, man, Cube.
Appreciate that.
I don't think you understand, man, because this is our first time meeting.
Yeah.
But I've known you my whole life, Cube. So
I get it.
I know the feeling probably not mutual. but look, man, look, when you talking about, I'm a diehard. I got my boy Terrence Hall, my wife Charlotte Haynes, my homegirl Monique over there. Look, when you talk about the West Coast, we from Fresno, California.
That's
Cube.
right.
And it was West Coast music where we came from. That was it.
That's real.
And all we listened to was Ice Cube, Dr. Dre, N.W.A. And so, man, to have you sitting here, man, first of all, thank you, because I know you had a lot of other places to be, man.
Nah, man, thanks for having me, man. I wouldn't want to be nowhere else but here.
Look, man, I told him, I said, look, when I knew we had the opportunity to get you on,
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm definitely, look, the Big 3 is blowing up. It's getting bigger and bigger. I'm definitely going to touch on that.
Yeah.
But Cube, I gotta go down through the history. Cube,
Okay,
this is
let's do it.
But leading up to this day, look, I don't get like this. Leading up to this day, I'm asking everybody. I'm like, if you had one question to ask Cube, because Cube don't do these too often. You had one question to ask him, what would you ask? And they was throwing out some BS. I'm like, man, this is Cube, man. Like, come on, man. So I've condensed the 100 or so questions that people said they got. I got a little bit for you, Q.
All right,
so let's throw it out. First of all, I want to sad to start off on this note, but obviously John Singleton, somebody I know you real close with, passed not too long ago. What are your thoughts with just what you guys went through together? I know he was instrumental in bringing you on to the film game.
I mean, I wouldn't be here at this level without John Singleton. Just think of all the people that I've put in movies and all the people that we've discovered, and none of that would have happened if John didn't write Boys in the Hood and put me in it. So I just think about all the careers that he touched, all the people that he, believed in. As an actor, I didn't know I could do it. You know what I'm saying? Because I wasn't trying to be no actor. I was trying to be the best rapper in the world, and that was like my focus. And he pursued me for 2 years to be in Boys in the Hood.
Is that right?
Yeah, I just felt like I wasn't qualified. I'm like, dude, you got to get somebody.
So you were turning him down for about 2 years?
Not turning him down. He just wasn't at the position where he could really make it. But he was telling me, yo, I got this movie, you perfect for it. I'm like, dude, I'm looking at him like he's crazy, but he just was a visionary. So what I love about John, he not only worked with the best, like Lawrence Fishburne and Angela Bassett and Cuba Gooding Jr., but he also reached back and grabbed people like me and Tupac and Busta Rhymes and Tyrese. So he was a star maker, and we're going to miss him, man. It's a big loss. People, will not really be able to fathom what we just lost in losing John Singleton.
When was the last time you spoke with him?
He came to my, the last time I spoke to him was on the phone. He was having a birthday party. He wanted me to come. I was out of town. And but the last time I seen him is he came to my Walk of Fame.
Okay.
Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Yeah. And congrats, by the way.
Thank you. And he's just always showed up, whenever I needed somebody to talk and like, kind of sum up my career, get at, speech. John was the one I would always call.
Did you ever ask him what did he see in you to why he had you just tailor-made for that role?
I never asked him what he saw in me, I just was amazed at how much he was willing to teach me. I couldn't have did that performance without John. Like, making sure that everything was coming out right, And so, and then, John did stuff like, man, I was sitting in his house one day and he was like, when you gonna write a movie? And I'm like, what? I'm like, hold on, you hitting me a little too heavy. What you mean?
Man.
He said, man, if you can write a song like that, I know you can write a movie.
Wow.
You know, so
He planted that seed.
he put that in me, and he helped me with my first 2 scripts. Like, they was whack. He read them, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Gave me notes, did all kind of cool stuff that he didn't have to do because he was, you know, he had his own career. And so I'm just grateful that I had a chance to meet that man, and I'm gonna miss him.
Man, I've you know, big ups to, first of all, condolences to him and his family and everything.
Yes.
And I've seen you retweeting a lot of the outpouring of support, you know, from Busta Rhymes to guys who were very instrumental in their lives as well. So
Yeah.
his impact was felt, but he would definitely be missed. Somebody else, succumbed to I guess the street life, street culture is Nipsey Hussle.
Yeah,
What did you know him well?
I didn't know Nip well. You know, I knew him as just a youngster in the game who, you know, trying to make it. Trying to, you know, I remember Nip earlier in his career when he was, you know, he had a big buzz.
Yeah.
He was working with Dre, and then Nip kind of, you know, for some reason couldn't capitalize off that. But he stayed down, he stayed on the grind. And I knew, like, this dude is a star if he ever can, you know, find the right situation. And then, so to see him in these last few years really picking up a lot of momentum and doing a lot of great things, you know, I was really proud of Nip. And it was always respect there. You know, he came to our Big 3 event, you know, and he's just a good dude who is sad when stuff like that happen, man, you know, and it's ugly and it's unfortunate.
Yeah, I met him twice. Once was it was a Warrior playoff game last year.
Yeah.
And then I met him again All-Star Weekend in Charlotte. And I just never heard anybody say a negative thing about him. You know,
Yeah.
and that struck me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but his situation, we don't know all the ins and outs of what happened, but I wanted to ask you, as somebody who made it out the hood,
Mm-hmm.
how did you walk that fine balance of still, you know, being a part of your people, but still not being totally accessible where anybody can get at you? How do you work
Well,
that?
I mean, I wasn't totally accessible to everybody in my hood before I got famous, so I wasn't about to start being accessible because I'm famous.
That's the wrong time to be accessible.
Yeah,
Then.
so, you know, I treated it like the same. You know, it's people I got along with before I was famous. You know, I still get along with them. The people I didn't get along with, you know, I still ain't really got nothing for them, you know. And so, you know, I just kept it in perspective. You gotta keep it in perspective, you know. Keeping it real, staying hood, staying down. You know, it's a time and place for that. But it's also a time and place to think about your family and your babies. Once you have kids, you know, the hood is on the back burner, straight up. And that's how it was. You know, I got married, 92, started a family, and that was my hood.
That was your hood.
Yeah.
Put things in perspective for sure.
Yep.
And that's what I want to talk about. So when you were young, you know, I talk to the wife all the time about this, is that, you know, N.W.A, you know, I was, when N.W.A first came out, I'm about 8 or 9. And so I didn't really start listening to you until you went solo.
Yeah.
But the way you left N.W.A as a young, how old were you then? Like 24? How?
When I left
Yeah,
N.W.A?
when we left N.W.A.
No, I was I was 20.
You was 20. So you left at 20 years old at the height of N.W.A.'s like status, because you felt like you wasn't getting what you deserved. Now, people at 20 don't do that because they're getting the fame. You know, they're showing they're all on radio, they're doing whatever. So at 20, you had, coming from nothing, you still had the mindset to say, hey, no, I'm not happy with that. I'm not content with that. I'm
Yeah.
like, where did that come from?
I mean, I guess it's the neighborhood I grew up in. You know, your respect, your pride, manhood is more valuable than money and fame. And so how could you be with somebody you know is ripping you off and still look at yourself in the mirror every day?
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't just live like that. You know, I'd rather go back to the hood, back to being broke.
Wow.
And so that was the whole, you know, my mind focus was like, yo, man, this ain't fun if it ain't fair. And so, you know, I just made a decision that, you know, I'd rather start from scratch, you know, start from the beginning. But things got to be right if I'm going to be in the music business.
When you made that decision, did you have any second thoughts, doubts of going back? Was there a chance to? Was there a
going
time?
back to the group?
Going back.
No. I was gone.
You was gone.
I was gone. Yeah, you know, and you know, when I left, you know, it was just venom coming from them dudes.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So I wasn't thinking about going back.
Well,
you know, it was like, you know, I was thinking about other things I could do to them.
When you talk about venom, shoot, well, the strongest venom came from one side. I don't recall it, but being
they had, you know, they definitely, you know, was, you know, throwing jabs, and you know, it wasn't pretty.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it wasn't pretty, so I wasn't thinking about going back.
Well, since you brought it up, Q, let's get to the venom.
Mm-hmm.
To me, there's nothing that's going to be. I know you get talked about it all the time, you know, but there's nothing's going to be, in my opinion, no Vaseline. Number one, because I think it was personal.
Yeah.
You know, it was personal between you two, and and then at the time, Cube, you were saying some stuff on there, man. It was like, whoa.
Yeah, I know. It's a vicious record.
Your manhood's getting being questioned there, man.
It's a vicious record, without a doubt.
This is what I want to know, Cube.
Yeah.
This is what I want to know. Were there? I can't imagine it, but were there any lyrics in there where you originally had in? You was like, nah, that's too strong. Let's take it out.
Nah, because I was too mad when I wrote it. I was too mad because if you listen to America's Most Wanted, there's no dissing of N.W.A.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It was my first solo record. You know, so I expected it to be just a business thing. You know, like I go my way, you go yours, and then they came out with a diss.
Yeah.
You know, on 100 Miles and Running. So I gave him a little jab on the end of Jacking for Beats. And then they came back, you know, with a few songs on their second album. So I was like, man, this, you know, I can't take this. We gotta do something about this right here. You know, so I just heard that record and I was just so mad. I went home and wrote No Vaseline in like 90 minutes.
Man.
Like 90 minutes. That's how mad I was.
An hour and 30, man.
An hour and 30 minutes probably.
Hold on, did you, Q, you didn't have, so when you were finished, there was no hesitancy from you? Like you just pushed it, like get this out? Or did you think about it? Did you hold it?
Yeah, it took us weeks to record it. Like I wrote it and then I was working on Death Certificate and I was just looking for the perfect beat. You know, I was looking for the perfect beat for it. And then I thought about Cinderfella from Dana Dane, Cinderfella, which is Daz, the Daz band. And I'm like, using this. If I use this, it's a hit before I even say one word. So
that's crazy.
When I found that, I flipped it. But what was funny, I didn't tell the rap to nobody. I just was like, we looped the beat up. I went in the booth. And when I came out, the look on their faces was like,
wow.
Like, they was like, you putting that out? Yeah, we putting this out, baby. It's about to go down. Hey, sharpen up your knuckles because it's going down.
Golly. History in the making. The rest is history, right?
Yeah.
They didn't respond after that. It wasn't really too.
I was expecting them to because I had another song wrote
Oh, you had another one?
Yeah, because I was expecting, to come back. So I wanted to be ready.
what was that going to be called?
I don't know. It was just Larry. It was like I got the, halfway through the first verse. So I was just on my way to, I was waiting for the comeback.
God, that was so, man, it wasn't no following that. That was just.
Yeah, but I thought they was, I thought they was going to, do an album on me, after that record.
Golly, man, that's history. What was it like? You worked with, a ton of producers. Dr. Dre is, that's like I said, you guys are my childhood, man. That's what I grew up listening to. Can you walk me through how he produces a track and what's different from him than others you work with?
Well, when you work with Dre, you have to be patient. You got to put your ego on the side because you go in there thinking you're a hell of a rapper, and you might be. And you go in there and you bust your verse to the track, and he's like, okay, I like some of them lines. Some of them lines we got to change.
Yeah.
And so you start working them, and then you really start to kind of go down the track almost line by line, making each line perfect.
Yeah.
Not to your ears,
to his.
But to Dr. Dre's ears. So you don't know what this dude wants sometimes. You're like, damn, Dre, I said it exactly how you said say it. Nah, it wasn't it. Got to do it again. So a lot of dudes get frustrated.
Yeah, I know a lot of artists go.
The sessions are, you in the booth. You could be in the booth for a couple of hours, just going through the song and getting every line perfect. So, you gotta, like I said, have patience and put your ego aside and just get a man what he want. And then you get a man what he want, you look up, damn, this shit is banging.
Man,
that's why I went dope.
That's why I went. Nobody else is like that you worked with.
Not that I've worked with. Nobody.
God. So I want to, something with Dre. So when Dre went through his change, and he ended up leaving. He went to Death Row. So this is the height. This is like really the height of what I remember musically growing up. I want to ask you this: was there ever? Because this was my dream coming up. Was there ever a time or opportunity where you could have joined Death Row?
No, I wouldn't have never joined Death Row. I mean, I was trying to clean up my own crew. And them stories coming out of Death Row. I was like, man, I ain't, like, I'm trying to stay out of prison.
Oh, man.
And so, nah.
Never?
We was cool. We was always cool. And, I did records with them, We did Natural Born Killers,
I'm going to get to that.
But no, it was never a thought.
Never a thought. Did they ever approach you?
No.
Never did?
Because, they knew the answer.
Yeah, well, I
knew the answer.
Yeah, okay. Well, it was just from a West Coast thing, man. Yeah. I was like, man, I wanted, Cube and Dre and Snoop and Das Corrupt, man. That would
have been crazy.
But you knew, but Suge was you guys' bodyguard.
Well, Suge started to come around as I was leaving.
Gotcha. Okay.
And he was doing bodyguard work for DLC. So, I don't really interact with Suge a lot. Back in them days. You know what I'm saying? Just a little.
I understand. I wanted to ask about Nothing But a G thing.
Yeah.
I don't know the answer to this. I want to see what you thought. I've always wondered this. So, at a point during that song, Dre says, "I'm mobbing like a motherfucker, but I ain't lynching."
Yeah.
Was that a shout out to you, or was that a shot at you?
I think that was a shot at me.
Yeah. Okay. My wife said so. I think that was a shot.
You know, one of
I
them.
was like,
Remember when they threw the shoe at Bush?
yeah, that's what the,
Yeah, that was one of them. So,
so that was still like some beef back then.
yeah, I mean, you know, we were still, you know, that's like 90, what, 3?
Yeah, 92.
You know, it
man.
was still, you know, a little heat in the air. But, you know, at the end of the day, they knew that I was you know, just like having issues with them still. They had issues with me, and we hadn't rectified them yet.
Yeah.
So they was just still lingering, still hanging.
Now we know all about, you know, dissing track. You know, people love, you know, dissing. Kind of some people use it to further their career, get a step up. But I want to ask, how do you end those beefs? Like, what does it take to? End?
Man, it takes.
Nobody
a sit
talks
down.
about that.
You know,
yeah.
it takes a, you know, I guess they call it a come to Jesus moment. When you realize like other people can get hurt because, you know, if I'm beefing, then that means everybody in my crew is beefing too. And so that means friends and family is, you know,
affected.
Yeah, so you realize like people outside the circle can get hurt. That ain't got nothing to do with this. And then you do what you're supposed to do. You holler at that man and say, look, you know, we in show business. We ain't in the streets. So let's you know, simmer this down and go back to what we do best.
Does any of this amaze you as far as where you've come from and now business mogul and
I mean, it's amazing. You know, you're a business mogul when it work and you're not when it don't. So
well, that's true.
You know, I
too.
take that, you know, with a grain of salt. But for the most part, you know, I'm you know, pleasantly surprised that, you know, with the kind of music that I do, that I was able to carve a career out of it, you know.
Did you ever envision and think, I never thought it'd be a day where Ice Cube, Snoop Dogg will be household names back in that day. Did you ever think that the world would come around to just accepting and embracing, you know, hip hop and the type of hip hop that we present?
No, I didn't think it would happen. You know, I thought we was too cool for that.
Yeah.
but
this is crazy.
But it's you know, sometimes it takes time for the world to catch up. So it's cool.
So now, fast forward, how long? So you stepped in the game, what, 86?
80, yeah, about 86. I started writing and put out my first record in 87.
So we're 30 plus years.
Yeah.
And it's hard to stay relevant that long. You find ways to continue to reinvent yourself, to put on new things. And the Big 3 is something that's been, this is the third year, going into the third year. Like, how long did it take for you to come up with this concept and to get this thing off the ground?
You know, I was always thinking about like 3-on-3 basketball. Like, why isn't it elevated to the professional level? You know, that's what I used to think when they would have these like Mountain Dew tournaments, or like Nike would do a tournament and they would do it in the parking lot, you know, with you know, weekend warrior kind of ballers. And so I was like, why isn't this elevated to the pro level in the arena? And then I start, you know, brainstorming with my partner, Jeff Quantnitz, and we just brainstormed for a year on why it could work, why it couldn't work, what would make you go see it, you know, like all the things we can do to make it right. And we kind of cracked the code and came up with a great formula. And it's great, man. We're in our third year and, you know, it's accepted. I'll be looking on the internet, people be like, man, you should retire from the NBA and go play for the Big 3.
That's real.
You know what I'm saying?
No, that's real.
That just let us know that we're starting to become part of the sports fabric of America. You know?
I was about to bring it up too, because there are players that retired and then they're not ready to see them go, like leave completely. Then they get a second, opportunity with the Big 3. You got Joe Johnson, who just freshly retired. I think he's probably going to kill.
Without a doubt, man. You know, we got some dudes that's going to get busy.
Gilbert Arenas,
Gil, no chill Gil. We got some guys that can play, that got a big fan base, and, you know, people are going to be anxious to see them play again. So I'm excited, man. You know, we dropped our age from 30 and up to 27 and up. So
Okay.
we think we got some guys who might end up making it back on the NBA roster.
Oh, so this can be another stepping stone to get the guys back into the league.
Yeah, you know, we had, you know, Josh Childress had signed he had got invited to the Nuggets camp, and Xavier Silas, he had got a 10-day contract with the Celtics last year. So it's pretty cool, you know, to see that happening, to know that NBA scouts and people are watching our games and they might pluck a guy and put him back in the league.
No doubt. So what is ultimately, what do you want this league to become? What's the big picture as far as where you see this organization?
I want it to be, you know, as big or bigger than the NBA.
Like that, huh? Think it has the possibility to?
Yeah, I think, you know, 3-on-3 is played more around the world than 5-on-5. So there's an appetite for it. You know, it's just really all about us doing what we're supposed to do to grow the league and take it, you know. What's cool is we can be worldwide with the Big 3. You
No
know?
doubt.
We can have a Big 3 China, Big 3 Brazil, Big 3 Europe, and we might do a Big 3 World Cup one day. You never know.
It sounds like that's in the plans. No, I already know you're going to do something big, Q. I wanted to ask you about this because I think you know you're doing this for the culture as well, but you know you're in the bidding for, you know, the Disney sports regional networks.
Yeah.
And I've seen some of your clips and read some of your clips about why this would be important to the culture.
Oh, yeah.
Diversity. What made you want to get involved and try to put in the bid for that?
Well, I mean, it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, you know. These things don't come up for sale. Like a network that has rights to the NBA, NHL, MLB, and Major League Soccer. You know, that don't exist. So to be able to be in a position to probably, you know, grab these and turn them into a network where when the games are not on, you still got cool programming that you want to see from people other than the good old boys club.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's
hear.
like, but that don't mean, you know, it's gonna be, you know, the new BET.
Yeah, it's not gonna be BET.
No, it's gonna be
hopefully not this
very entertaining.
Not the BET it is now.
Well, it's gonna be very entertaining TV for you know, young people to have a voice, you know, and not just feel like what they want to talk about or see or do is, you know, got to go through gatekeepers. We want to end all the gatekeepers.
So, Q, I got to ask you this, man. We talk about Friday. Obviously, that's my childhood. Two questions on Friday real quick. When you said bye, Felicia, when you went and did that, did you think it would take on a life of its own? Like people say bye, Felicia now, don't even know where it came from.
Yeah. I never knew that line in the movie was that special. You know, it was like, it was just a dismissive way of like, I don't want to hear you no more. You know what I mean? Bye, Felicia. So that's one of the last lines I ever thought would be this big.
Crazy.
So that movie is just a movie that, you know, you just keep, you know, you watch it, the more you watch it, the more you can pluck gems out of it. And it's amazing that a movie, you know, small little movie that we shot in 20 days.
20 days, that's it. I didn't know that.
Yeah, we shot that in 4 weeks. And so, you know, it's just amazing to see that it still, you know, it still has this staying power.
My wife, she uses that against me. When she's dismissing me, she'll say, bye, Felipe.
That's dope. You better get that trademark.
Bye, Felipe. But no, that movie and the cast of characters are so, you know, ingrained in, you know, how we grew up and what we remember. Is there anything that was surprises about some members who were probably you went after first that would kind of trip us out and be like, oh, that would have been Smokey or that would have been Felicia?
Well, Red was supposed to be Smokey. Red is DJ Pooh.
Is that right?
And DJ Pooh, me and him wrote it together. Yeah. And we always wrote it as him, Smokey, and me, Craig. And when it was time to shoot the movie, New Lines had some concerns because Pooh had never been on screen before.
Got you.
So it was like, you're going to have to find a Smokey. So that's when we kind of went on the hunt, and they was bringing all kind of people in, you know, from Tommy Davidson and, you know, but I was like, nah, I want this young dude I saw on Def Comedy Jam named Chris Tucker. We got to get him in here because he was funny as hell on that special, so I know he could do it.
Nah, you put it like with John Singleton, you gave a lot of people their first platform to go and pursue. Now they're big stars. So Friday, I know you. There's a new Friday that's in the works. Or
we finished the script, you know, and we got our notes back from the studio. So we just gotta make them happy so they can cut the check.
Man, that's important. Cutting the check is important. I learned that from you, Q.
Very important.
We know what else I also learned from you? Because I was born on the west side of Fresno. So when you came with Bow Down, at the end of that song, you gave instructions. You was like, if you live on the west side of your town, make them other fools bow down.
That's right.
I'm making them bow down.
That's right. Make them bow down.
Cube, man, I appreciate. I know you got to get out here, man.
Too, man.
No, there's much love, man. Ice Cube, the legend, the Don, man. Keep Big 3, support them. Everything go to their schedule. Go to the website, check them out, man. They're doing big things. Continue to support them.
Yeah, get that Big 3 app too. Yeah.
No doubt.